Hey, beautiful people, how you doing? So we're here with our fourth installment of our brown chair chats. Ta-da, brown chair. Uh, so today is going to be talking about letting go. Walking away from what doesn't serve you. This may be a pretty much short video, I think, so I don't think it's gonna be that long. I'm glad you guys are liking the video chats, and if you can share them, whatnot. If you are watching, of course, on Instagram, this is going to cut off in 15 minutes. So if this is longer than 15 minutes, which most likely it will be, go into my YouTube and just put in Adam Keith, and I should pop right up for you. All right. So letting go of things that don't serve us is very difficult for a lot of people, and I know it was difficult for me, letting go of a lot of things. It's just, past behaviors, relationships of all kind, love, friends, family relationships even, can be very, very difficult to do, but sometimes definitely needed, okay? Even for things like family, even though you were born into a family, doesn't mean that you're going to be best friends. It just doesn't. You're put into families to work out issues. You're meant to grow with each other, hopefully, but sometimes it doesn't happen because all of you have free will, and sometimes the dynamics just don't work. Now, of course, in a family, usually you're spending a lot of time with people, especially when you're younger, and you're trying to make these things work because you're a family unit. But as you get older, things, again, you can respect your mother and father and love them and love your brothers and sisters, of course. But it's also knowing that, even those other, say your mother or father, or say the other siblings, your brothers and sisters, even like uncles and aunts and all of that thing. If it's not working out, like say, there's just too much tension. You have a narcissist in the family. You have someone who, is always in trouble with the law. In all those kind of respects, you've tried to make it work. Of course, most people will try to make their family dynamics work because they're family. Blood is thicker than water kind of thing, and I totally understand that. But there's going to point too where some of you are not going to be seeing eye to eye anymore, and that's okay too. But the thing is, like, you can still love somebody in your family, and you may respect their decisions or not, but it's also remembering that they are on their own path as well. You were, doesn't mean you're going to be friends. You maybe having your whole soul tribe or new tribe is outside of your family, and that happens with a lot of people, especially with a lot of gay and lesbian people. It's like it's always, they develop a new family elsewhere. Some have the ability to still have their family members with them, and I think that's becoming more so these days than previous generations. But even still, some people have a hard, difficult time, and it's not just about being gay and lesbian. It could be a wide variety of things. Your whole beliefs, especially nowadays, right versus left, and the whole political scheme and what everybody thinks, etc. It's like we've never seen our nation more divided, or people more divided in general, about what's going on in the world. But this is understandable. This is what's happening right now. We're going through an ascension. So all of this is being thrown up in the air, basically, and nothing's landed yet, so to speak. But more information keeps coming out. And it's also, and I'm going to diverge here, because it's also, you got to remember, the biggest thing that you can do is also admitting when you're wrong. It really is. It's important to remember that. Because sometimes we bring on ideologies and ideas into, that we get from either reading or from our families or from the outside sources that we gravitate to. And sometimes those are no longer serving us, or they're not, maybe not even good for us, or they're not even actually true. And to admit to someone that you're actually wrong about something is very powerful and important. Now, if there's also the option of forgiving people too when they do things wrong to you. And a lot, of course, family members will have that as well. Like, unfortunately, there are families that do lots of things that are very awful to their children and etc. And it's just not good. I mean, to big time abuse, sexual abuse, all of that, and it's just not good, of course. And it's also having to forgive and let go of that as well. And those are very difficult for a lot of people to do, and I completely understand. I mean, it really is. That is not a light thing to be carrying. It's very heavy. And of course, I do recommend therapy for anyone that's going through that, or, bringing the authorities in, because those are very difficult circumstances. However, in the end of the game here, you're still going to have to forgive and let go, because not forgiving, not letting go weighs down on your soul like an anchor. And you don't even say to the person, I forgive you. You do this energetically. You let go energetically. It's like, you may be in a relationship that you kind of, has run its course. Sometimes that happens, even with love relationships. You try to make it work as much as possible, of course. You never just give up at the drop of a hat. But if it's time and time again that neither one of you are getting your needs met, or one of you isn't getting your needs met over and over again, you've talked to the person, you went to therapy with each other, and nothing seems to be working, that's when it might have to be say, okay, we need to let this go. It's no longer serving me, it's no longer serving you. You can't be stressed out in a relationship that's bringing resentment all the time. There's definitely going to be difficulties, of course. There's always difficulties in relationships. But, a lot of people will be able to get through those. Job loss, illness, deaths in the family. Those are very difficult things, but they have to be dealt with. And most families and most relationships will hopefully get through them. It will be difficult, but they will get through them. Sometimes, though, however, it's not easy. Maybe one partner is doing drugs. And I don't mean just an occasional, I'm out and having a good time drug, but it's becoming an addiction. And therefore we have another problem. It's you try to get the person in therapy, try to get this person, AA, whatever it may be. And sometimes if that's not working, it's having to let things go. And that can be very difficult because of the relationships that are built up with people and the emotions that are built up. But it's important to know and realize when it's in time to let go. It's no longer serving you. It's no longer serving them. So it's about walking away from these relationships that just aren't working. And it's also walking away from ideas, places, people, things, emotions that no longer serve you. Jealousy is not an emotion that serves anybody. Got to let it go, so that, there are things that need to be let go. So sometimes it's about examining your life and figuring, what is it that I have to let go? And the thing is, most people already know, but they suppress it. They're not using their intuition, which is another thing getting at. It's you need to be more intuitive. You need to ask your guides for guidance to help you, to be more intuitive, to really understand. And this could also avoid you getting into a relationship that doesn't work with you to begin with. If you're seeing red flags right away, then make sure that you heed them, because they're there for a reason. It's important to acknowledge them. And I don't care how good looking this person is, I don't care how much money they have, what status they have or title, does not matter. If there's red flags there for a reason, telling you this person, just because of whatever it is they look like from the outside, does not mean you need to be in a relationship with them. Okay, so very important. And this goes for friendships, this goes for coworkers as well. And with coworkers, it may be difficult as well, because of course you're working with somebody day in, day out. It's a little hard to get away with them, from them sometimes. But you can still keep people at a distance. You can be pleasant to them, obviously, but it doesn't mean that you have to bring them in any further than that. Like telling them your personal stories, or inviting them out to dinner or drinks or whatever. And some may be persistent in that way. Oh, let's go get coffee. And you're not feeling it. And there's a reason why you're not feeling it. It's listen to that. That's really important. It's if it's not jiving for you, it's not jiving. You can't try to make a relationship happen. So, the red flags, can be a wide variety of things, but your instinct will kick in saying there's just something not right here. And people will talk a good game. They will. But you need, you got to get beyond just what they say. It's also, will they walk the walk of whatever they're talking about? But your intuition already recognizes that. It kind of, there's something saying, no, I don't quite believe you. I don't quite believe this. And it's hard sometimes we get distracted by, they're so handsome or so pretty, or, oh, my God, he drives a Bentley, whatever it means, or he's a lawyer, blah, 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 or he's a doctor, medical doctor. No, that does not mean a person's any better. There's a lot of low vibrational doctors and lawyers, please. Just as there's low vibrational coal miners and, checkout clerks. And then there's high vibrational people all over the same spectrums as well. We got to start realizing that it isn't about how much money someone makes, what they look like, etc. It's about who they are as a person. That's where the validation comes in, of who they are. And people, of course, also feel like they need validation as well. It's why they don't leave certain situations, like certain friend groups. Because, the friend group is like the cool kids, And yeah, we think of that as being very high school, but we still do it today, even as adults. They're in a certain club. They have this kind of money. They're in this nightclub. They're going to that nightclub. They're in this, tennis courts and the whole, special clubs. It's, no. It seemed like we also kind of want, people want certain status and whatnot, feel like they belong. The thing is, though, if it's not feeling right, it's not meant for you. It's not meant for you. It's time to let those things go and stand in your power. Because I said this to someone today, as a matter of fact. I said, don't be the little dog, trying to get up the window, trying to, get the approval and trying to get outside. It's like, be the wolf. Be the wolf. And I don't mean in a negative, bad way. It's be the lone wolf sometimes. Be the center, be the energy here. Because that's what's going to attract the right people to you to begin with. Your energy's valuable. It's a resource. And you got to know, especially for those Queen of Cups out there who wear their heart in their sleeves, who are very empathic and want to help and want to give. And I get it because I was there myself. And I still am. But I'm a Queen of Cups with boundaries. I don't give my energy to everybody. I can be nice to you. I can have a conversation with you. But I'm going to keep you at a certain distance if I don't feel like you're the right person. It's knowing your value. Know your energy. You don't give your energy to everybody. You can't, and nor should you. People will drain you just for it. Because a lot of people don't produce their energy themselves. They go and steal it from other people. Very much similar to very narcissists do the same thing. There's always that narcissist empath kind of duo thing going on. And you need to let that go. You need to know your boundaries. You can't help everybody. You can't save everybody. It's not your job to. You can help with people, and people come with, they want advice from you. Absolutely, you can give them advice. Of course, you can have empathy for them. And you may be able to help them in certain situations. But this person's also needing to help themselves. Are they willing to walk the walk? Are they willing to really turn their life around, or whatever it is they're asking for? Maybe they're down on hard times. They lost their job and they need some money. Was this person a good worker? Was this a person that, was really trying? Then yes, if you feel this person's worth, giving some money to in the meantime, then do it. I had given money to a person I thought, I knew for a very long time and wound up not paying me back. But you also don't give money away that you cannot afford to. So I did it thinking that this was a trustworthy person, and turned out no. And I knew this person for a very long time. So very sad indeed. Especially if you're talking about returning money to someone as opposed to paying your bank bill. Your bank doesn't give a shit about you. It's the people that you're near to. So you pay them first. Not the fucking banks. Banks don't care about you. They'll write off your stuff and dump it in. They don't care. It's a tax write-off for them if you don't pay the bill. We're all so scared about that. And I'm not saying don't pay your bills. Of course you pay your bills. But if you have to pay off friends, paying a loan debt from a friend or to a friend, you pay off that first. Or you give a little here, and then you pay off also the car pay, the card, the credit card, whatever. But make sure you pay your friend or your relative back. you know? It's like priorities. It's like what's important. So I have my little listy here. Yeah, I'm talking about boundaries. You know, and the boundaries are important, and we sort of have to remember that, because there's a lot of people that also want to have this sort of nightingale energy, want to save somebody, want to like, oh, but I can help them, I can change their life around, I can do this. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. You, like I said, you can give advice. If they're willing, truly willing to help themselves, then yes, you can be there to support them and help them. But you can't just keep giving. Oh, I give them money, I'm going to help them this, I'm going to help them that. No, what you're doing is you're making them an enabler. You're not helping them do anything. It's like that thing, it's like, you know, instead of giving a man a fish, you teach him how to fish. That way this person can be self-reliant. That's what you want. Someone who's also standing in their own power. You know, because this dynamic of you're always trying to help, and they're never learning anything, that's exactly what this dynamic's gonna be, and where it's never gonna change. So it's like changing that and realizing, you know what, I'm gonna give you some tools. I think this is, you know, if you can follow this advice, do this, you know, go over here, whatever it is that, I mean, every situation is gonna be different. But if you can give advice to help them move forward, if they're willing to do the work, then great. And yeah, I will loan you this money, but I want it paid back, this, and get a contract signed. I don't care. I don't care if it's your best friend, if you feel like it's something that, you know, you might get burned in the past. But like I said, don't loan out money that you can't afford to loan out either. Don't put yourself in a bad position, because I ain't gonna help you anytime soon. So, you know, they may think that you have money, but like, you know, if you're just comfortable and you're living just fine, but you gotta make sure that you're okay yourself, you know. So maybe you were the wrong person to ask for money, but maybe for advice, you can give them advice. Or maybe it's something else, maybe in your garage that they need. Maybe they need something to furnish their home and you have an extra table in the back in the garage or something. Fantastic. But you're gonna make sure that you also take care of yourself. So it's important, especially emotionally, boundaries, because you don't want to keep giving emotionally to somebody who's not giving back to you, who's gaslighting you, who's lying to you. You know, again, because you want their approval, you want their validation. And this happens in friend circles as well, as I told you. You shouldn't be looking for that, you shouldn't be seeking for that. The validation comes within yourself. It's here where this is. And the way you're going to be achieving more of this, of course, not just listening to your intuition, but is also meditating, getting more connected to spirit, which I talked about more in meditation in the last reading. Getting more connected with spirit, you know, getting more grounded. These are going to be important things to do. It's not easy. This is a process, you know. Everyone likes to think that it's simple. It's not. And I've, you know, been helping other people go through their awakenings right now too. And I remember going through my own. It was difficult, extremely difficult. And I know how it feels, but I know where they're at. Like, I know what they're going through. But I also know to tell them that there's a light under the, you know, at the end of the tunnel there. And it's well worth it. Because I want to see them standing in their power. So I can help them where I can, of course. You know, but they've got to be putting in the work. And that's what I love about what I do, is helping people along, to help them facilitate their own energy, their own solidarity, their own forthright. It's almost building your citadel, the citadel within yourself. And that doesn't mean, when I say that, not giving love, not able to give love. It's important too. It's like when people finally release what's no longer serving them. I'm going to give a love example, for example, here. Someone's in love with somebody. It's the completely wrong person. This person could be a narcissist, using them, whatever, lying out of their asses. And they're not coming forward. Talk is cheap. Walk the walk. But they're not walking the walk, right? So this person finally lets go. Finally, after difficult emotions tied up with it, could be kids, could be property, so many things tied up with this. They finally let go. They start learning about, they start, you know, getting more centered, start meditating, start, learning more about themselves, releasing a lot. And then maybe they're not quite healed, or maybe they are. Let's say they are. Completely they're healed. They got over the energy. And a new person comes in who's kind of giving them the same vibes, but in different package. And they're like, well, it's kind of, because they've been wanting new love in their life. They've been wanting somebody there. And so it's this want, like, oh, this got to be the new person. This is it. This is the person. Well, the universe is going to come and going to test you again to see if you got it right. And it may seem like the right person, but then something's not quite right. They're not giving to you. And instinctively something's wrong. And this is the test that, you have to go through. And it may happen a couple times. But if you can give your heart, like you want to give this person your heart, but it's not being brought back to you, none of the energy is being brought back to you, then to learn to be able to say, you know what, my needs are not getting met, I'm leaving the situation. That's strength right there. And you may be upset for a bit, don't get me wrong. But you heal quickly, you know that this person was not the right person, and you were able to let go and heal. You knew that you could still give your heart, but yet when your needs are not getting met, to call it quits, to say, no, I'm good. Because you got to know the difference. You got to know the difference. And it's important that we do that. And it can be very difficult. I mean, as of course you spend more time with somebody, you get to know more of their character and truly who they are. So remember to listen to those red flags. All right? Yeah, my guys are saying that's about it for right now. I hope this was helpful. Please leave some comments if you can. And I will talk to you guys later. All right? Have a good one. Ciao.